Hello everyone, it is me Peep Peep and welcome back to Corpse Party Blood Drive. We are on chapter 7. Determination. Oh my gosh. Determination? Anywho. It is the end of the world as we know it. The sounds of fire trucks and patrol cars echoed through the streets. The sky was dark, the air stale, and the many strong cold gusts of winds bore mass amounts of dust and debris. I didn't envy the reporter her job, as she seemed mere moments from being blown off her feet. But to her credit, she persevered. Behind her, there was the black shadow of an old man. My cat is being really freaking loud. Oh my goodness. I'm here reporting on what's been dubbed the nationwide ghost disaster state, which local representatives claim is now in effect as of last night. This string of unexplained and potentially unexplainable deaths that's been plaguing the city presently shows no signs of letting up. Gosh, it's crazy. Suspicious and sudden demises, homicides with unknown motives, and reports of paranormal visitations are all increasing at an alarming rate. The police forces in each prefecture are still weighing their options for dealing with the issue, and few have made any official statements thus far, frustratingly. Oh my gosh. The old man's shadow in the background began acting strangely, jumping in place and making various other aimless motions. The Metropolitan Police, meanwhile, have suggested that all local travel to safe location in groups of 3 or more as soon as possible, remaining indoors until further notice. The sudden devastating appearances of the black pillars throughout Japan last night has also led the MLIT to declare a state of emergency, setting up disaster shelters and lookouts. Official word from local bureaus on how these pillars are affecting traffic and the status of damage to the rivers, as well as any countermeasures being taken, can be seen here. Experts have analyzed the pillars' composition and concluded that they're made of a previously unknown material. They've tossed around names like spirit matter and empty wall. Due to their rapid growth and the complete inability of even seismographs to predict where they may have spawned, the number of casualties is quite high, and global tensions are even higher. Something up to and including industrial cutters and blades have been employed in an attempt to cut through these objects with absolute no effort. The Ministry of Defense is using JSDF data to explore the strong possibility that these pillars are related in some way to the aerial sphere that hovered in our skies only days ago. I have here a list of newly reported relief shelters, so if you live in one of these designated evacuation areas, please take note of the information on your screen. This information is also available on our website and through our mobile app. Do note that any gymnasiums and schools shown in white are full, so you need to look elsewhere. We strongly recommend that you proceed to a nearest open faculty as soon as possible. But if these things can sprout up anywhere without warning and give you no time to escape, evacuation is meaningless. There's not a damn thing anybody can do to stay safe. Whether you die or not is just dumb luck. When the hell are the police going to get off their asses and make a statement? Are they scared of public outcry? Are they hiding something? The middle-aged announcer was yelling at the top of his lungs in an absolute frenzy. He kicked the studio desk to the ground. A black shadow of a woman could be seen behind him. Class rep. Shinozaki. Ayumi. Shinozaki. Huh? Oh my goodness, so scary. Thank you for bringing us back to life. You mean I did it? Oh, but a whole lot more people have died now. Huh? The room grew dark, and each of the 4 figures who stood before me slowly melted into the blackness, becoming indistinct silhouettes. Even Mashida, Nakashima, and Kirishima have died. So many people gone. What's this? Even we haven't exactly been revived, huh? What was it you were trying to do again, Ayumi? No! I screamed and looked up. It was just a dream. I was at home watching TV. I scrunched myself up again, putting my face to my knees. Bring them back? Bring them back. I was like a broken record with that. But it was a doomed idea from the start. Everything I've done has been pointless. So what do I do now? I thought I could revive them. I really did. I mean, if I can't come back from Yoshi's house, despite those injuries and losing my sister, then anybody should be able to come back. Hey, just want a little interruption here. I heard that they've announced a new Quartz Party game. Sadly, it's all in Japanese, but someone who I follow on Twitter was like, oh, they're making a new game. And I'm like, are you talking about Quartz Party, the second one? I forget what it's called. Quartz Party 2. Something about, it's the hospital, but there's like a picture of a hospital. And like it's the new Quartz Party game, and I'm thinking it could be Quartz Party 2, but other people are saying that it's a new Quartz Party game. I don't know. I really hope for new stuff because they keep redoing old games like Book of Shadows, and they just keep remaking the old game. Like Blood Drive was like one of the first games you got that wasn't just like a remake, you know. And then we'd obviously have Quartz Party 2, but it's not done. I heard they're still working on it, but still, I thought I would interrupt and talk about that. I'm very excited. I love Quartz Party, and I would love to get a new game. I would like it to be in a school again. I don't know. I think school areas are cool, but anything Quartz Party is great. I'm gonna be excited no matter what. I raised my face from my knees, eyes red and burning. Then, as if I had not already had enough tragedy in my life, I heard a loud crash just outside my house. It was unmistakably a car wreck, and rather severe one at that. The car's alarm was going off, but I was trying my best to ignore it. I didn't need this right now, so I simply wasn't going to bother with it. Sis, what do I do, sis? Sis? Up next, we've learned that the CEO of PL Promotions Co. Inc. is among those who've gone missing. Took a little drink. Oh no! Hope I can look through the house after this. The car alarm I was outside still going off, and it was getting harder and harder to ignore it by the second. Look at her, she's like, ugh. What? Whoever was ringing my doorbell was really, really persistent. The irregular sound brought me back to reality. I hurried over to the peephole and silently looked through it to see who'd be visiting at this hour. On the other side of the door stood a man I didn't recognize. He had short hair and he was pressing the chime frantically as if his life depended on it. Who is that? I was kind of creeped out. I really shouldn't open the door. I moved away from the peephole. Where are your shoes? Let people leave their shoes at the door and they are not there. The persistent ringing continued for a bit, but then finally, thankfully, came to an abrupt halt. You know, thinking of the new game, I kind of hope we get a style like this game. Like, kind of like a 3D and 2D aspect. I slowly crept back to the peephole and took another look. The man was still there. He was just pacing back and forth in place in front of a house that, for all he knew, had no occupants. After another short while, he approached the door again and immediately put his eye right up to the outside of the peephole. If I move now, he'd totally know I'm here. The man moved his head away, but quickly replaced it with his finger, which he swirled around and around inside the tight space, as if trying to reach my eye or poke it out. Then he stepped away from the door. I could have taken this opportunity to slowly move away from the peephole, but I was oddly transfixed. It makes me think of Naomi with her eye. Thank God, now all he has to do is leave. Of course, the second I thought that, he came back to the door yet again. I was like, what is that sound? Why does my thing looked weird. And yet again, he skipped the doorbell and went straight for the people. What does he want? Why isn't he saying anything? This is really creeping me out. Oh, fine then. I'll just open the door and give him a piece of my mind. I grabbed the doorknob and was moments away from following through with that plan when suddenly... Yumi. Sachiko? Don't open it. What? He's dead. I slowly turned to look at her. The Nirvana is the world of the dead. And that world is coming here. Then there was an oddly familiar sound. Another car accident, again, right outside my door. This time I looked outside through the people and saw the man from earlier, sandwiched between a car and the wall of one of the houses across the street. He was absolutely mangled. But after only a few moments, the man's corpse disappeared, leaving nothing but a shadow in its place on the wall and around alike. A black stain. What is this? What's happening to the world? Not that even I really had to ask. Is this from breaking down the walls of the Nirvana? I wasn't just asking myself, I was asking Sachiko, whose presence still remained just behind my back. But she just looked up at me with sad eyes. That person just now, was one of the deceased, and if he turned into a black stain, then... No, it couldn't be. I pulled out my smartphone from my pocket and forced myself to remain calm enough to access the photo, but then just stopped and stared. God, no! The photo displayed on my phone, which was now on the floor. Oh my gosh, that's so freaking creepy! Oh my gosh, imagine how horrible that must feel. Ugh. No longer had just my friends from before with blacked out faces, but Machida, Nakashima, and Kiyashima as well. That's creepy. I pounded the floor with both hands and shuddered violently. Thou shalt repent. The end of the world is nigh. God shall not forgive those who art unclean and discreet. Some cultist group was speaking on TV. I guess the news must have ended at some point when I wasn't paying attention. The end of the world, huh? This time I was just plain talking to myself. Girl, get out of my house! That's right, the end. Whoever thought that the last remaining Yogura could have enough suicide bomber determination to dream up something like this. Magura appeared in my hallway. I had no idea how long she'd been there, nor how she got in. Man, do you have to wear that outfit? Put something else on, please. I know she still had her heels on, though. It's you. I stood up, and Sachiko was, as always, waiting in the wings behind me. I love the music. I came back with the Ever After stones, used them in mid-air while I was falling down the bell tower. Heavenly House is totally destroyed, so these are just plain ordinary stones now. To demonstrate, Megari snapped the two together. Nirvana, I summon the dead. See? I probably flinched, but she was right. Nothing happened. Within the next few hours, this world will be totally blanked in chaos. It's going to be the new land of the dead. So if anyone has read, Magical Girl Site, spoilers for the ending, just skip like 30 seconds ahead. Or a minute. So pretty much what happened was the end of the world somewhat happened, and it was really freaking weird. But like, I keep thinking of the end of the world with that series. Like, I played the game first and read that, and now I'm replaying it. I wouldn't recommend the series, honestly. It's alright, but you know, it just kind of makes me think of that with like, oh, all these magical girls and the world's ending sort of thing. So yeah, it's pretty intense. I do like stuff like that with like the end of the world. I think that's really cool. Personally, I don't know. I think stuff that has to do with the end of the world, kind of like that, like the whole world's kind of going to chaos, so I gotta fix it. I think that's really cool. Sucks, huh? This is seriously capitalism. And on top of it all, that's my order on TV there. Fucking shameless, aren't they? Even have got to draw the line at that point. She pulled back her chin and flashed me a strange smile. Oh yeah, your parents went crazy enjoying, so you know. This day couldn't have been much worse for me. Are you okay leaving things like this then? Megari wasn't mincing words, it seemed. Oh, she grabs her head when she's like freaking out. Headcanons that some people won't like. I headcanon her as autistic. Don't like it? I don't care. I only headcanon her like that because she's literally me, so. I know, I'm just kidding. I feel like a lot of times when it comes to certain characters, like, I don't know, she's grabbing her head and she, you know, I could make a whole thing, maybe, about her being autistic. But it's just my own headcanon, you know, you don't have to agree with me. Anywho, none of that matters. I hold my hand in both hands and look down at the ground. Do you feel responsible to come for me a bit? I have something to discuss with you about your bloodline. I will say, though, I love, like, how expressive she can be. She's, like, grabbing her head, like, no! I don't know, I like the different characters and how they can be expressive. Megari approached me and grabbed my arm. Sachi, still right behind me, began to growl like a guard dog. Get your hands off of me! I can't even save my friend! I can't do anything! I don't know what the hell the difference of blood of the Shinozaki is supposed to make, but I'm just a Yumi, and Yumi's worthless. Besides, the person who first introduced Nirvana to this world was Yoshi, not me! Man, I love her character. She's so great. Like, come on, you're not terrible. You're amazing. I screamed as fiercely as I could. I didn't do anything wrong. I closed my eyes and I cried the hardest I've ever cried, sobbing so intensely that I found myself nearly hyperventilating. Girl, come on. Megari slapped me down to the ground. You're one stubborn bitch, you know that? You got a hell of an ego, too. For once in your life, just suck it up. I held my cheek and continued sobbing. Megari was looking down on me with contempt in her eyes, but also a certain intensity that deemed more akin to desperation than anything. Ayumi Shinozaki. Here's one fact you should know. Oh my gosh, they're gonna kiss. I think I said that when I first played the game, actually. I wouldn't be surprised. Once the seventh pillar, the Sephiroth of knowledge, starts up, it's all over. The end of the world is carved in stone. However, Megari closed in on me, as if our lips were about to touch. Gay. Yuri is real. I wish gay people were real. Oh man. Only if. Oh, also, I do have a new sprite, for anyone wondering. So now it's the agender, arrow ace, and lesbian flag is on me. On little pins. Sachi growled again, but Megari was clearly not intimidated in the slightest. The Book of Shadows isn't gone yet. What? You came in contact with the original book, so since you draw the blood of the Shinozaki, you may yet be able to fight Mitsuda. I was still hesitating, and Megari apparently didn't much like that. God, just come the fuck on! Suddenly Megari was pulling up the top of my uniform. My plump white stomach is now fully exposed. That piece of shit book is right here. She pointed to a spot just below my belly button. What? As she did, so did my stomach started growling in an unearthly roar and shifted in place slightly. It was almost like there was a snake slithering around inside of me. Sure would have been nice if you'd noticed a little sooner. That thing's been sleeping inside you since the first use of power in the basement of Yoshi Shinozaki's estate. Megari crossed her arms and snorted. Of course, it's only a container. Nothing's in it right now. Growling like a cocky bastard. The growl that came from within my own body sounded like that of a wild beast. There's no way, is this for real? I was actually tricked pretty good. Originally, the elders sent me to support you in your efforts to obtain the Book of Shadows from the other realm, among other things. Okay. That sprite of hers is really cute, though. Oh, look at them, both so cute. But of course, that still means I was planning on stealing it from you as soon as you got your hands on it. Now, though, that doesn't matter. If the world's going to pot, there's not really any meaning in becoming their heir to Matsuza's anymore, is there? And that just fucking sucks. Huh? It all goes to Mitsu. Me-su-to. If that little fucker thinks he won the war, he's got another thing coming. Don't you just want to slaughter him like a pig right now? You should stop being such a pussy and look at all the things you're capable of. There'll be time enough to abandon all your potential after you're dead. My eyes began to well up yet again. Are you saying there's still something I could do? Megari's expression turned deathly serious. Do whatever you can to bring that Book of Shadows out of your body and gain control over it. If the book recognizes your determination, the name of the chapter, it should extract itself naturally. And if you have the power of the book at your disposal, it'll lead the way right back into Misuto's Nirvana. I could only stare incredulously at my abdomen. Megari took this opportunity to open my front door, again to illustrate her point. Outside, the weather was still completely anomalous, with hurricane-like winds and debris clouds everywhere. The clouds up above, too, were moving abnormally fast through a disconcerting blood-red sky. Every few seconds, a sound not unlike a spark plug firing could be heard echoing from the distance. As another black flame ignited and burned itself out in some random spot. I mean, you're going to lie down and die with this world either way, so what have you got to lose? Show me how tough you are while you still got the chance. Just remember, the book was born from black magic. It adores cruelty and blood. With those parting words, Megari disappeared into the city, the sound of her heels clacking softer and softer until they were no longer audible at all. Sachiko and I could do nothing but see her off. The entire nation was now plagued with entity walls and black silhouettes like spirits of the dead. The entity walls were rapidly destroying schools downtown, bypasses, and other crucial traffic cornerstones, and even rescue shelters, creating countless new casualties by the minute. People were running in the streets, panicked, confused, and almost certainly not much longer for this earth. Where are we supposed to go? Doesn't matter, just run or you'll be crushed. What about overseas? How are you gonna get there with the sky and ocean both screwed up? Meanwhile, in Miss Kuhn's office, the black-suited agents watched in horror as each TV monitor displayed a feed from a different news network across the world, and the story was exactly the same on all of them. Boss, what are we supposed to do? How is a book supposed to recognize my determination? What the hell am I supposed to do? I don't know, let's go in these rooms. I don't have any reason to go in the kitchen right now. But I want to go in the kitchen! Please? There's nothing I need to do in here right now. Let's go in this room. What's in here? Oh, this is my bedroom. I guess I'll save real quick. But I want to go and explore the house. There's no... I want to go upstairs so badly, though. I'm so sad. Can I go in here now? Numerous unsettling shadowy figures are silhouetted on the sliding screen separating the living room from the outside. Going out now would be a terrible idea. What? Hello? Oh. The reflection in the mirror looks like a whole other person. Ragged hair, pale skin, and expression of utter disdain are the standout features. Every channel is reporting almost non-stop on the nationwide ghost disaster state, and that's an effect. Too bad no one seems to have any worthwhile information to contribute, though. The lack of sunlight these past few days has really taken its toll, not just on the people here, but on the plants here as well. Can I sit down? No. Let's get out of here. Let's go to my room and do whatever I gotta do. Okay, look at my little globe. There's a sexual globe on the table, one of Hino's favorite possessions. Isn't that cute? Oh, it's all stuffed up here. That must be from when I dropped it. Oh, scuffed up here. That must be from when I dropped it as a kid. I remember when that happened. Sis was just worried whether or not I was okay. She didn't say a thing about me damaging the globe. That's kind of cool, though. That's a cool globe. Okay, well, should I go to bed? No. There are numerous books on the shelf relating to magic and the occult. I had quite a collection. Sis. I'm not gonna do that yet. Can I go to bed? Her room was really cute, though. I like the wallpaper. It's really nice. The smell coming from the outside is a mixture of burning metal and blood, almost certainly from the car accident. That's gross. You can smell the blood? Okay, let's do this. Sis, give me strength. Ooh, oh! From inside the mirror of the mirror dresser sat Hino's zodiac dagger. I gripped it in terror, closed my eyes, and started shaking. Do whatever you can to bring the Book of Shadows out of your body and gain control over it. Just remember, the book was born from black magic and adores cruelty and blood. I couldn't back down now. I lifted the dagger in front of me, poised to lunge it in my body and carve myself open as a samurai once did in the ritualistic suicide called seppuku. I'm only screenshotting that because that's pretty cool. Fun fact. But I couldn't go through with it. I was too scared of death, too scared of the pain. I can't! I can't! The face that reflected back at me in the mirror was twisted with fear. I didn't even recognize myself, but I could see in those eyes all the weight that had been put on my shoulders, all the responsibility I had been forced to bear. I'm a coward. I'm small and weak. The world doesn't need me. I won't be missed. But I can make a difference, here and now. Ah! My mind was made up. I lifted the dagger again, only to bring it halfway to its destination before halting its descent once more. No matter how determined I was, no matter how strong my conviction, this was literally suicide. I knew what had to be done, but knowing and accepting are two different things. I began crying like a baby. This was the most afraid I'd ever been in my entire life, and almost certainly the most afraid I ever would be. At this point, the only way to be able to go through it was to clear my mind and let my arms make the motion automatically. Before I knew it, that's exactly what I did. It's most likely because I wasn't thinking about it, or anything else for that matter, that the dagger found absolutely no resistance. It was like applying excess force to a slice of cake. Oh, I can't. This is too bad. Oh, I don't like it. For a brief moment, I felt nothing, but then the convulsion started, first in my abdomen, then really spreading out the rest of my body. My abdomen was now spasming and constricting involuntarily, and the rest of me wasn't faring much better. My entire body was in total chaos. Oh! The extent of the agony I felt at that moment was absolutely impossible to convey. It was all encompassing. I was utterly incapable of focusing on anything else. My lower body was spewing bright red blood, thick black blood, and an unknown yellow substance, all of which were blending together into a slurry that was, at its core, my life essence. This went far beyond anything I could have ever imagined. The sheer shock of it rendered my mind a jumble that I simply could not unentangle. I knew there was a reason I'd done this to myself, something I absolutely had to do, and it was crucial, but regaining enough cognitive function to do it would be a challenge. I can't do this. To cut across yet and remove the book, there's no way. My head was swimming, and as I tried, beyond all reasonable measure, to hang on in consciousness just as long enough to complete the task at hand, I could still see my face in the mirror, but only just as the blood had been swirling from my abdomen had largely gazed it over. Oh God, I was truly frightful sight, comparable to, if not more disturbing than anything I'd seen Heavenly Host. I can't do it. I felt feeble, helpless, and the face in the mirror was smiling at me for it darkly, absently. You can't do it. Jet black crows flew by outside the window, and in that moment a fire sparked within me. Feeling oddly resolute, I gripped the dagger jutting out from my abdomen. And yanked it to the side with every last bit of strength I had left in me. The spray of blood gushing out of me became almost exponentially more violent. Most surprisingly, it seemed like equal amounts of blood were rushing to my brain as well, and the effects of feeling like the blood vessels in my head were on the verge of bursting. But just as I felt like I was moments from a final blackout, I saw something there among my own entrails on the ground. Was a blood-drenched tomb. This. I don't know. It was the Book of Shadows without question. And she died. My vision blurred from the intense loss of blood, and even more intense pain. I fell forward, unable to maintain any semblance of balance any longer. And I landed right on it. With a loud, warm, and unpleasant splash, my face planted firmly into the book, which was steaming under the odd temperature differentials of my viscera. I woke with a start. I was still in Hino's room. Okay, this is her room. Hino's and not her room? So you've never actually seen her room before? Instinctively and frantically, I looked down at my abdomen. There, I saw a scar trebling the ones I almost died from during the blowback at Yashi Shimizaki's house, runic lettering and all. But that was it. The bleeding had stopped. In fact, there was no blood anywhere in the room, and on the floor in front of me sat the Book of Shadows, not a copy, but the original. This is... I slowly touched it, and from behind me, Tachi spoke. The book has acknowledged you as its owner. She was staring at me with a docile, almost revert look in her eyes. I picked up the book and looked at it, fear and awe running through my now clear head. It grumbled a bit, darting its eyes back and forth. Eventually, it seemed to settle on a specific direction, locking its gaze. It seemed to be looking out the window. What is that? Most likely the entrance of the Nirvana. Wait, Kazuragi Academy is in that direction. What the... Dad, Mom, thank goodness, I was worried sick about... The world has ended. The world has ended. Dad? Mom? Oh, we can go out to him. The world has ended. The world has ended. Dad and Mom both just repeat the same line over and over again, like a broken tape record. Numerous, okay. Alright, well, bye-bye, Mommy. Bye-bye, Daddy. I don't need you anymore, parents. But I want to go upstairs. Wait, can I actually go in these rooms? Or what? Okay, I just want to make sure. I don't want to, like, try to go in here. And it's like, yes, you can. I'll be back for you, I swear. Let's go, Yumi. I'm not really sure if I can talk through this, so I'm gonna talk a little bit, and if you hear this, then great. Oh, it's all in Japanese. Obviously it is silly. But if you can hear this, you can hear this, but if I have to mute this, then I guess I'll just have to mute this. But I'm talking a little over it, so maybe I don't have to mute it as much, I don't know. But I love this. Look at that, look how creepy it is. Oh my gosh, this is like a trailer, but we're seeing it midway through the game. I don't know why they're showing this, but you know what? I love it. Oh my goodness. The song is so good though. Oh yeah, I'm gonna look this up actually, because I know some people later. Ending thing again. Okay, so I don't know if you could hear me during that because the music could have been copyright. I don't know. Sachiko, I can't believe I'm saying this, but having you on my side is kind of reassuring. Sachiko looked at me with sweet, innocent eyes. Oh, so cute. When I arrived at Kisaragi Academy, I got much better look at the phenomenon. It was like a whirlpool with red dolly shining hole in its center. Was this the entrance of the ever after? Beyond that, that is the nirvana. Aw, so cute! Kinetic magic? Like how witches fly? No way! I closed my eyes, clasped the Book of Shadows tightly in both hands, and prayed. Book of Shadows, lend me strength. Whoa! I opened my eyes and again looked up into the sky. My body began to float. I was in control of this Book of Shadows. I was a legitimate practitioner of magic now. This moment felt almost like an awakening, to endless new possibilities. I'm actually flying! Wow! And right next to me, flying by my side, was Sachiko. She's been flying the whole time, hasn't she? Wait, no, I don't know. Naomi? Huh? A momentarily loss of focus dropped me out of my trance, and I immediately began falling. I gripped the book even tighter and concentrated harder than before, and sure enough, I began rising up towards the vortex once more. Be careful, Yumi. It's the book that's allowing you to use these powers. You mustn't let go of it. Understood. Aw, so cute. Look at that floating. So adorable. Aw. Like, everyone's cute. I know they're trying to make her look hot, but, like, come on. How old are you? Like, 12? That's not hot to me. I mean, I would hope not. But she looks cute. Like, I love her hair. Her outfit, I don't know. It's okay, I guess. Like, it's kind of a lot. I don't think I'll ever draw you, because your outfit's annoying. But as I flew higher, I could see Megari sitting on the roof of the school. Looks like you managed to gain control over the Book of Shadows after all. I underestimated you, Ayumi Shinozaki. You even installed the escalator from Kizari Academy right up to the Nirvana. Not too shabby. There's one more thing you should probably know, though. The Nirvana's encroachment upon the direct connection to this world isn't really your fault at all. The very moment the heavenly host Nirvana first appeared in this world. No, even farther back, at the moment when the Book of Shadows was first created, the coming of this apocalypse was basically an inevitability. That's a hard word. I looked into Megari's face. She was being completely sincere. The former owners of that book, including Yoshi Shinozaki, all tried desperately to stop it, or at least to slow it down. And when they learned they couldn't, they left that fate to the next generation instead. That's why the book continued to be handed down through the ages. I see. Oh, the more you know. What that means is, this all would have happened anyway, with or without you. I totally forgot about that, but that must be reassuring. Like, it sucks to know, but at least it wasn't necessarily anyone's fault per se. Save for one thing, your actions resulted in the power of Nirvana being handed over to Mitsu, the surviving member of that fucked up Yagaru cult. And you do need to take responsibility for that. Responsibility? You have the real Book of Shadows, but all the power of the Nirvana, broken up and distributed throughout Heavenly Host, has been absorbed by Mitsu's fake book. If you can get it back and seal it in that one, though, you can easily outclass him. And if you can go one step further, taking it to the Nirvana's core, then that book will be complete. Now is the time to strike. Go on in there and fuck him up. Before the world ends, let him see what real power tastes like. I'll be waiting. I'll be watching. Megari grew smaller as I climbed higher and higher, and as I looked up, I could see the threshold looming even larger, poised as if to wrap itself around me. Ayumi? Are you scared? Are you scared of dying? I don't know. Am I? I smiled at her, and to my surprise, it was a genuine smile. Somehow or another, I was feeling very calm. Sachiko, I don't know why I keep saying that weirdly, but looked at me with wide eyes. Like a little cat. Meow. What's wrong? She turned away briefly, then looked over at me once more. It almost seemed like in that brief moment she changed expressions in much of the way someone would change a suit. Ayumi? What you should be scared of is Sachi. And the person in the Nirvana's core. Don't let your guard down. The person in Nirvana's core? Isn't it Mitsuto? Girl, you are wrong. It's your mom. Huh? Uh-huh, there's someone else. I looked back up to find myself practically right on top of the hole in the sky that stood in front of the abnormally huge red moon. Wow, okay. Slowly look at it, that's fine. And with my convictions settled, I jumped in. The harsh flash and nausea and wrenched tightness in my chest caused me to lose consciousness for a second. But then I awoke to find that heaven and earth had switched places. It looked as though I was falling headfirst into a massive storm with flashing lights and roaring thunder. It almost seemed like I was previewing what the world would look like after destruction. In the sky, there was an enormous face of a doll, and the walls around me were all made of flesh. I clenched the Book of Shadows with both hands. I slowly made my landing in this new version of Nirvana. It was a mountain of rubble. Whoa. What is this? Everything's broken to bits. Oh! Ow, what the hell? Yumi, are you okay? Yeah, I can handle this much, at least. So I slowly, carefully found my footing and pulled myself back up to my feet. This was an entirely different heavenly host. It bore almost no resemblance whatsoever to any version of the school we'd traversed previously. Heavenly Host Elementary turned into this. Where are the others? Mashida? Nakashima? Kishima? Miss-kun? Ayako? I called out to my friends, but received no answer. All I could hear was rumbling and twisting of the air around me. Oh my gosh, there she is. We're gonna look at this body first. A name tag rests out the corpse. Crushed by a piece of the school. Oh my gosh. So he was alive before? There was no mistaking it. In the midst of the wreckage, pieces of clothing from Kirishima, Mashima, Nakashima, Miss-kun, and Ayako were clearly visible. Yeah, Ayako is like the most visible. Look at her head, it's gone. Oh, I forgot about that. That's so fucked up. And the unfortunate souls were wearing this clothing were all buried underneath fallen beams and other debris and surrounded by a veritable sea of blood. I knelt down and began sobbing uncontrollably. You guys! Show yourself! What you've done is unforgivable! Sachiko stared at me as I continued to scream and cry. Ayumi? What is it, Sachiko? I'll see what I can do. I can try to restore Heavenly Host Elementary's destiny. At least some a part of it. What? Sachiko produced a Calivra necklace from her pocket. The skeletal figure on the chain made a slight hollow clicking sound as it was handled, very much as an actual bone would. It looked handmade and seemed oddly warm, like a keepsake. What is that? I had this weird feeling that I'd seen this object somewhere before. I swear that it looked familiar, but from where? Though she was looking down at the ground a bit, slightly guilty and slightly guarded, Sachiko giggled slightly. This is my treasure. A big smile crept across her lips, and for a moment she looked every bit a part of an ordinary little girl. She's so cute. Huh? I was confused. Sachiko placed her hand on the Book of Shadows. Fact loop. And the book spoke. Repeat the same day. Followed by Sachiko. Suddenly, I was in Yoshi Shinazaki's clinic. The very same clinic Nakashima and I had visited on that fateful day. This person is Yoshi. I was viewing Sachiko's memory of an event from long ago. Yoshi was writing something in her journal. I didn't mean to skip that, but she says something about analyzing. There are no success rates, there is no data of any kind, so why was I naive enough to attempt something so foolish? I devoted everything I have, my blood, my soul, to an end that was destined to never succeed in the first place. Isn't that Ayako heard? And now the spells failed, and Nirvana had escaped from the book. I've created a whole other dimension. Worst of all the deceased who became trapped in that dimension are erased from existence in our world. Sachiko came into the room from the back. Her eyes were met with Yoshi's, and she smiled. However, since I was able to suppress the stray Nirvana, Sachiko stood obediently by her mother, wearing over the white dress she'd been seen on in Heavenly Host. Yoshi patted her on the head approvingly. Sachiko then coughed up a fine black mist, but sucked it back into her mouth like carp. I could at least rescue one person's existence from that shadowly forgotten fate. The face on the image blacked out like those of Sayako and the others, however. Oh, man. To my surprise, the black marking slowly peeling itself away, revealing the features underneath. My vision slowly cleared, and when it did, amidst all the rumbling and shaking, I found myself back in Heavenly Host Elementary. Oh! Then promptly Sachiko collapsed onto the ground. Sachiko! Without thinking, I picked her up and held her limp, light body in my arms. She must have used up her spirit energy, as she was clearly drained. She was breathing, but only very lightly. Poor girl seemed to be in pain. Wait, am I actually holding Sachiko? Sachiko was real. She had to have been, or I wouldn't be able to hold her onto her like this. She seemed injured, but not in any traditional manner. There were cracks running through her body, each one emanating an unearthly blue, almost gaseous light. Meanwhile, the school itself was also cracking and breaking all around me, making an incredible noise. The roof above me began to crumble away, providing glimpses of the real world. And incredibly, the entity walls hadn't spawned there yet. We're back. This is before everyone died. Sachiko, hang in there. Ayumi, I'm sorry. I couldn't revert more time. No, Sachiko, thank you. That was amazing. You did great. I could hardly believe it. I just complimented Sachiko, of all people, on a job well done. You're praising me? Her newly formed physical body was rapidly beginning to evaporate into mist. My voice was trembling, though I suspect it was less than with fear and more with confusion. Well, of course, she's still a little girl. She's so good right now. Yes! That was incredible! You're a good girl, Sachiko! She looked up into the sky, eyes beginning to well with tears. She was struggling to speak. Soon she wouldn't be able to at all. I wanted to apologize. What? She barely had any voice left, but it was perversing nonetheless. This was clearly something she didn't want to leave unsaid, no matter what. I know you can never forgive me, but I wanted to apologize anyway. And with that, she began full-on crying. Sachiko, I couldn't help but do the same. I kill a lot of people. I'm not a good girl. You shouldn't praise someone like me. The tears were streaming down my face now. Sachiko's voice was so mournful, so genuine. But you just saved a lot of people now, too. So thank you. A massive earthquake shook the ground. Turn down a little bit so you can actually hear my voice. Sachiko looked scared, so I patted her head and hugged her tightly. She then looked me sparingly in the eye, gripping her Calvera necklace tightly in her hand as if it were a rosary. It's strange, isn't it? What is it? What is? Once you know you did right, passing on isn't so scary anymore. Sachiko! Sachiko and the blue light alike both disappeared completely. She was gone. The being I was hugging just moments ago no longer existed. All I could do was clench my fist and mourn. The look on Sachiko's face when she asked if I was scared of dying kept flashing through my head. Sachiko, you were the one who was scared, weren't you? I kept my head hung low for a moment, then stood up and wiped the tears from my eyes. Accompanying the sound of rumbling, one single entity wall now stood in the real world. The cycle was beginning anew. Watch over me, Sachiko. One Sachiko to another. One Shinazaki to another. There she is. Praise, good girl. Unfair, Sachiko. To be continued. That was so freaking good. I literally did nothing. That chapter was, I wouldn't say it was short, even though it was. It's less than an hour long. But that was so good. Definitely want to play more right after this. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like and subscribe, and I will of course see you on the next one. Goodbye, everyone.